Hey everyone, we're trying something a bit different today because first of all, it's a longer kind of video, and second of all, I am not alone today. I have Matt Buckley with me, who does a brilliant job working for the editorial team of Gamepressure, and we thought, why not try talking about new games with their new hot trailers in a bit more interesting way than just top 10 trailers you absolutely have to see. The idea is that we select 5 trailers, which means 5 games each, and we're pitching them to one another. I'm leaning more towards mainstream games, Matt has great insights into the indie scene, and afterwards we give each of these pitches a score between 1 and 10. By the end, based on the scores, we have our top 3 of the games that interested us the most based on the trailers and the pitches. These won't always be new game announcements, but it's always something that within last month got a new trailer that is worth mentioning now. You can treat it as a podcast type of conversation if you like, whatever works for you. So let's see what we have prepared today.
I'd like to watch you forge. I'll pay you for it.
Does it excite you?
Ugh, it's really hot in here.
Okay, so have you heard of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2?
I have.
This is the important part. So Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 actually released back in February. The thing is, they are releasing a set of DLCs throughout this year. The first one was done, I think, back in June or something. Now we have the Legacy of the Forge, which is the second DLC that is actually already out. That's why I'm talking about this one first. It was out on September 9th, but I think this will be actually the most meaningful DLC for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The whole premise is that in this game, you actually did not have your own place to stay yet. In the first game, also as a part of a DLC, there was something called From the Ashes. You actually were governing the whole village that you had to rebuild and kind of build yourself a place to stay. And here they decided, okay, since you're a son of a blacksmith, now you can have your own forge. And as part of having a forge, you have this house. And now you can spend a lot of money on customizing your house. You can make it look really nice. You will be forging weapons. There's new daily quests actually that are in the game right now, thanks to this DLC. And which is the most important thing for many people is that now when you reach the level 25 of a new stat that's called Prestige, and you gain that by doing those daily quests, you can get yourself a raven, and you can teach the raven to speak things, and it can speak bad things as well.
Okay.
So this is like the most important thing for
right, the thing that everybody's looking forward to the most.
Yes, exactly. So the DLC actually builds upon what's already in there. It's not groundbreaking, although it does add something new. Since it's out and since I played it, I can say that I feel it's very good. However, I think there was potential to do a bit more with the concept of this DLC. But the trailer itself that I've shown, the launch trailer, I mean, first of all, people got crazy because it shows Kid Henry, or Baby Henry, however you want to call him.
Oh, okay.
And also the whole situation when the guy is trying to assemble the clock. It's typical KCD stuff, super funny.
Yeah.
All that, and if you want to unscrew that, well, first, you have to unscrew this. But then you can't get back to that.
Now you are obliged to play it.
Do I have how much of the full game or of the base game do I have to play to get to this?
So the moment you enter the second map, the region itself, there is a new quest line that appears in the city of Kuttenberg, that when you pass next to the ruins of the forge, you actually get a small reminiscing moment, and then the whole thing starts. There is stuff to definitely do out there. And it's not only about blacksmithing, which for many people I think is an important note to make.
Yeah. That's Recur, which is being developed by a studio called Kaleidoscube, which is a fun name. As you may have noticed in that trailer, it's kind of a side-scroller kind of game, but the premise, the concept is when you move to the right, time moves forward. When you move to the left, time moves backwards. And so you're kind of using that to solve little puzzles and stuff. In the trailer, there's that moment where he's kind of running to the left and the dogs are running backwards behind the gate, and then he pulls the gate lever to close the dogs in, and then you can kind of move time forward where the dogs won't be chasing you. So it's just like kind of a very clever, unique little puzzle concept that really caught my eye.
So for me, it feels like, I don't know, you probably recognize the game called Inside. So it's just like Inside and Limbo in a way when it comes to how it's presented, but obviously it has color. And I really like the mechanic that you mentioned, that the time moves in different direction depending on where you're looking. This is pretty cool, I gotta say.
Yeah, it really caught my eye. So I saw this in the Future Game Show at Gamescom. Kind of thought it was super cool. Put it on my wish list. It doesn't have a release date yet, but I'm hoping, sometime soon. I
mean, I absolutely like the concept. I like the visual style, the comic book like. This is pretty cool. Okay, you threw a very good case here in our little face-off.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, keeping it interesting.
It would seem that you are finally prepared.
This game is not actually that new. It's been in early access since, I think, May last year. Yeah. And it's also a sequel, so we probably all know what it's all about. You play as a character taken straight from Greek mythology. Here you play as Melinoe, who's the daughter of Hades and Persephone. And again, you found a reason to fight against one of the gods. This time, it's Kronos. I think he's the Lord of Time in the Greek mythology. Although when you hear somebody saying death to Kronos, I feel like somebody has something against Bloober Team and their new game, Kronos: The New Dawn. Luckily they don't. Now, also the reason why I'm showing this now is because the trailer, the launch trailer for Hades, actually premiered last week during Nintendo Direct. They finally have the release date for the game, and it's going to be 25th of September. Now, it's a roguelike, you kill gods, and since you very often, as you do in roguelikes, die, you have this whole loop of starting again, earning boons from various gods and creating builds and synergies, and it's absolutely awesome. Visually, it's amazing. I like this launch trailer because obviously it keeps the visual style, but it feels like a teaser of an anime, actually. The first part when you have this whole thing with Melinoe. Anyway, the reason I have it here is, sure, we know about this game, but I know that there are people out there who do not really play games in early access. They wait for when the game comes out in its 1.0 version. So if you haven't played Hades yet, the Hades 2, I mean, this is the moment to jump into it on the 25th of September. What's coming with the version 1.0 is obviously the finale to the story that was already in the game, but also there's going to be achievements. There's going to be, I think, cross-save feature, so you'll be able to play it on various devices at the same time wherever you go. So I imagine you are not surprised by seeing Hades. You probably know this.
Yeah, I as someone who's very much into the indie game scene, like Supergiant is like one of those names that really stands out.
Now imagine a situation, because they shadow dropped Hades 2, and maybe the team is big enough to actually be doing something, and imagine Supergiant dropping a game a month after Hades 2 is out. Like, hey, this is an early access for our new game, and it's
something we've already been working on.
Yes, exactly.
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
It would kind of cannibalize their own productions because, two games from the same studio within a month. Right. But I gotta say, Hades 2, you should play it if you haven't, and then wait for what's coming next from Supergiant.
You're just a part of my life.
Why did I feel when I saw this game at ONL? Because I think it was at ONL, right?
Yeah, it was.
So why did I feel that this is a next game from the studio that gave us Hi-Fi Rush?
Oh, yeah.
It felt
has
like
similar
it.
vibes for sure.
Yeah, but tell me about it, because I haven't read anything on this one.
So this is the developer. This is unfortunately not the same developer as Hi-Fi Rush. It is D-Cell Games is the name of the developer, but it's also being published by PlayStack, who also published Balatro last year. Release date November 6th, so that's not that far off. And there is also a free demo on Steam. But it's funny that this came up right after your Hades 2 trailer, because I feel like this could also be like an anime, like an animated show or something.
Totally.
And it's definitely inspired by that. All the characters have, the colorful hair, and they're very, so I haven't had the opportunity to play it that much. I'm getting very excited because it is I feel like it's a really cool game, and it's really unique, and I feel like it has a really cool message. So there is a lot of text in that kind of flashes on the screen, so you may have missed it in the trailer, but there's one point that says, music is illegal and you do crimes, which I think is a very funny way to say, like, you're in a band in a world where, like, bands are illegal. And kind of like, just like, it's a rhythm game where the act of playing music is a rebellious thing. The writing is really great. It's a lot of good sense of humor and funny character interactions and stuff like that. So I'd say if it looks cool, check out the demo. It's out in November.
Dude, you're selling me on these games. Like, I did not expect to be that much into like indie titles, smaller titles, because I don't have that much time to play something. But suddenly now I'm like, okay, I like the vocals and music in trailer because, like, this is what, like, pulls me in. But then when you tell me stuff like that, and I'm like, now I gotta check it out.
Obviously, there's a lot more game to play, but I'm seeing this as like a Games for Impact, winner at the Game Awards or something, maybe. Like, that's kind of where I could see this going. But the other thing, like, I don't consider myself much of a rhythm game person either, but this one has really, like, kind of drawn me in with everything else about it. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you also think it's cool. There's lots of great indie games.
You convinced me on this one. I will actually download the demo of it and try it out, and then we'll see if the trailer is just very good at convincing, just like you are in this. So yeah, we'll see. Good one though. Good one.
Yeah. And everybody put it on your wish list if it looks cool. It really helps indie devs.
They're pushing for the cash out, but the building's going down with them.
Bam. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is very much my kind of thing, because I like shooters, but most importantly, my favorite shooter series of all time is Battlefield. And it makes sense in terms of these developers, because Embark Studios that did the finals consists of a lot of people who worked at DICE, who did Battlefield. So, like, the iconic element, obviously, that comes with it is the destruction system. Now, the game already had a pretty cool destruction system when it launched 2 years ago. I think it was kind of shadow dropped during the Game Awards. And Embark Studios is actually working on 2 games. One thing is the finals, which is this game. The other is Arc Raiders, which launches like pretty soon as well. And so, like, the idea behind this game is that you have this kind of game show that is happening. You play within different teams. You have 3 types of, it's kind of a classes, but it's like body type that specializes in different things. You have various weapons, gadgets, so you kind of customize the class that you want to play with. And you do these kinds of matches, which often revolve around either getting into a safe or basically getting money and trying to not die when the other team is trying to get you. Now, why am I actually talking about this game right now? The reason for that is that Season 8 launched, and the thing is, like, even if it previously had a really cool destruction system, Now it got even better. It was upgraded to be much more interactive. You saw this part in the trailer where there's a thing falling on a building, and then it actually starts to crush the building and it drops into pieces. So like this is a part of the arena that's falling down from the sky on this other building, and it actually influences that. And it's not only by player interaction, by like exploding C4 or hitting it with a hammer. So if you like games that have this kind of fast-paced action, but actually gameplay changes a lot because of how you influence the environment in terms of destroying the environment, I can absolutely recommend it. I haven't played it for a while. I played it through the first 2 or 3 seasons when it launched. I had a blast. I really like this game, and actually now the upgrade to the destruction system makes me want to come back to it. So it's out and it's for free.
Okay, that was going to be my question, because I thought I remembered that this was free, but I wasn't sure. That's a pretty good selling point. The problem is I'm not very great at first-person shooters. That's never really been my strong suit, and I also don't really have many people that I would play with in my friend group. So, but the destruction and stuff, the creativity, the way that all works is so fascinating to me, and I think that since it's free to play, I feel like you've convinced me to at least give it a try and just see what it's like.
Yes, success.
So that's Absolum. I think I'm saying that right. And it's a kind of beat 'em up, multiplayer beat 'em up roguelike. So it's being developed by 3 studios: Guard Crush, Supa Monks, and Dotemu. And you might remember maybe Dotemu the most. They just came out with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and they also did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. And then Guard Crush also did Streets of Rage 4. So these are the beat 'em up guys, kind of. This is their specialty. And this is kind of their take on doing an original IP and throwing in the kind of roguelike elements. It also has a demo on Steam, which I've played a bit of. And it kind of has a fascinating little world building thing going on that ties the roguelike element to it. So your group of characters are all have this patron, and there's in this world there's different factions that all have these kind of almost godlike patrons, and when they're killed, their patron then revives them. So it's kind of the big battle going on in this world is trying to destroy the other factions, God basically, so that those people stop being revived and you can kind of start to actually wipe them out. And that's kind of where the roguelike stuff comes in.
I gotta say, this is very much not my thing. I mean, I do remember playing as a kid some beat 'em up games, and I used to enjoy it back then. But since then, maybe because I don't have friends with whom I can play the couch co-op, maybe, I don't know. I don't really play these kinds of games.
I had a feeling this would be the harder sell so far. It's a different. It's a certain type of game. Yeah, and I will say it's I didn't think of myself as someone who currently plays those kind of beat 'em up games either. And then I was at Summer Game Fest was my first introduction to this originally. This trailer was, I believe, at Opening Night Live. But I got to play. Basically, Dotemu had a whole booth, and they had Absolum, they had Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is also supposed to come out this year. We'll see. And all of those games ended up being a lot of fun.
I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I absolutely believe that these kinds of collabs between the studios who specialize in these kinds of games can work really well. It's just not for me.
I just had to throw out one last little pitch. Frog Wizard doesn't do it for you?
No, Frog Wizard. I don't like frogs too much. Sorry. This doesn't work with me.
In a galaxy threatened by war.
Okay. You won't know much from this thing because it's just a teaser trailer. It's actually a game called Starfinder Afterlight, and it's done by Epic Tellers Entertainment. They're setting up a very high expectations from the get-go, because they're saying that while this game is based on a tabletop RPG called Starfinder, as you would expect from the title, Starfinder Afterlight, this is actually something that, like, they said that they're heavily inspired by Baldur's Gate 3, and this sets the bar high immediately. Since it's a tabletop system, it has its own set of rules, so within the game we can actually expect, there's like a limited set of companions which kind of have their own classes, and there will be 6 available companions throughout the game. You can expect turn-based combat. They planned this game to be of about, I don't know, 40 to 60 hours, but I think it's too early to be like very attached to this kind of info. Your plan is basically to gather a team to defend against the danger for the galaxy, that, like, whatever it's going to be. Feels kind of like Mass Effect, where you basically need to gather a team and then head out to defeat whatever's coming. Every companion obviously will have their own story. The interesting thing, and the connection to Baldur's Gate 3 here, is that they are working with Neil Newbon, who's the voice of Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3, and he's helping out with this game. It really gives you a good idea, because Astarion was really well done for Baldur's Gate 3, and it's like an iconic part of the game. So I think if Neil is working with them, it also, like, is a pretty convincing thing. Like, he wanted to be attached to this project, and he's being a part of it, so hopefully this proves to be really cool. The game for sure is coming out for PC. No news for now regarding any other platforms, but you can already visit the Steam page for the game, and you can also go on Kickstarter, because actually in October they will start their Kickstarter campaign. I hope it actually turns out to be as good as it looks for now, but like I said, it's pretty early to tell, so we'll have to see.
Okay, yeah. This is very interesting, because big Baldur's Gate 3 fan, of course. Also a very big fan of tabletop RPGs. I've been a dungeon master for D&D for a long time. Yeah. So that's why I was like, something about this is feeling familiar, and it's because I know of Starfinder. I just haven't played it. I enjoyed the voice acting too in the trailer. I think that is a good sign.
Yeah, it gives you a pretty cool idea of what they're aiming for, and hopefully it's like that throughout the game. I always love when you have companion banter within the game. Obviously, I was referencing Mass Effect because I absolutely love Mass Effect.
Yeah. I'm putting this one on my wish list for sure.
Yes, success.
Yeah, I'll be excited when they release a new trailer. So, Long Gone. It's being made by Hillfort Games, which I think I saw somewhere that they are a solo developer, which is, always cool to see. Also being partly published by Outer Sloth, the Among Us guys. Yeah. No release date or anything yet. But this, I'm pretty sure this was also at opening night live. Immediately caught my attention. The pixel art is just so cool, especially for a much more kind of, I don't even know, I want to say 3D, but like such a big, like explorable space to have such detailed pixel art.
It has like this vibe of like a pixel art, but with voxel. Like voxel style games. Yeah. So it's an interesting mix.
There's no demo or anything yet, but basically the premise is you're kind of in a zombie apocalypse. It's been a long time in the zombie apocalypse, and you're kind of, it's more like a puzzle game than like an action game. So you're kind of exploring, finding different tools and seeing what you can combine and what is useful to kind of get out of situations like that. Also, it seems like it to me that it has a good sense of humor. I'm very curious to see like how it all plays out when like there was that shot of him like throwing a rope to get the bag off the zombie's back, and clearly the gun isn't the answer in that situation because he tries to put the bullet in and it doesn't work, and then he at one point walks up to the zombie and it just grabs him and bites him.
I wonder how how, let's say, many options you'll have in this game. Like if this is kind of like an old school adventure games where there was always a one solution to every puzzle that you had to use, like, you know, combining items and whatever, or is this more like an open style adventure? It does sound interesting as a concept. I am not like I'm very picky when it comes to this kind of visual style. For example, with pixel art, there's this there's this game called Replaced, I think. So this one for me, this is like a very, very beautiful pixel art that I like. But also with voxels, you can have like a very hit or miss. And for example, there's this game called Town or City that's coming out pretty soon. And it has also this voxel style, but it's really, really nicely presented. When you have these kinds of things, it's for me, it's a hit or miss. And I don't like this maybe grim, dark-ish vibe visually, but at the same time, the concept of the game sounds pretty cool. So for me, it's worth looking forward to some additional materials. Like it's not an instant sell for me, but it like sparked my curiosity, let's say.
Right. I think I'm in a similar spot to like what you were saying before. I would like to learn more about what the kind of open-endedness to the puzzles are. Like I think that's what would really like be the nail in the coffin for me in terms of interest in this one. Is like, do I need to just kind of scramble around until I find the one thing they want me to find, or can I like get a little more creative with it? That would, I think, would be really cool.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I'm allergic to nuts.
Ta-da! Batman. Now, let me tell you that when I first saw the trailer starting at ONL, I was not very excited. Because while I do like Lego games, I feel like there was such an abundance of Lego games made out of every big franchise that when I saw that it starts like, oh no, we're just getting Lego Batman, I wasn't very excited. But then, actually like around, I don't know, 30-second mark of the trailer or whatever, it suddenly changes and it's like I got really invested in it because it's not a typical Lego game made out of a big franchise. It feels like this is the Arkham series of Batman taken into and like reshaped into the Lego game, because you have proper gliding in this game. You use your grappling hook. You have stealth mechanics that are kind of like taken from the Arkham game. You have different versions of Batmobiles. We saw at least two. One that was the Tumbler that Ben Affleck had in his movies. But there was also the one scene with the car that's from the Batman with Robert Pattinson, which is the let's say newest iteration of Batman. When you're leaving a mark to explode the wall, it's just like from Arkham Asylum. The combat that you see there, it's like totally Arkham games. So for me, it was like I was mind blown to see that a Lego game is actually adopting a completely different style of gameplay than what we're used to for years. And that's why I got interested in this game. You have like the whole story, the origin story of Batman throughout his like process of becoming a hero of Gotham, like making new allies, fighting Batman's like typical villains. You had Penguin there, you had Joker there, you had Bane there. So everyone is there. It feels like the ultimate Batman experience. That's why I kind of got excited about it, and it mashes all those different iterations of Batman into this game, at least in this trailer. I don't know if it's going to be the same in the game itself, but for now I'm like, okay, I'm again interested in a Lego game, which I haven't been for a long while.
I remember playing Lego games when I was growing up. Like I remember playing a lot of Lego Star Wars, and that was a lot of fun, but it's been a long time. There hasn't been a Lego game that really like grabbed me and caught my attention. But this one is definitely doing that. Like the way that they've like made it into almost like a real Batman game. It just also happens to be Lego.
Did we just call Lego games not real games?
No.
I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
Yeah, it's like if Rocksteady did a Lego Batman almost.
I absolutely feel like Lego games became a subgenre of their own. Like, that's why they were also similar. So you were buying those mostly because they were in the world that you liked and not because they were like vastly different gameplay-wise. But this one is actually very different gameplay-wise while still retaining this Lego games humor. Gotta say, I'm pretty excited for this one. I actually can't wait to play it. I had a chance to play it at Gamescom, but I didn't have enough time to actually visit their booth, and I really wish I did that. But road's not taken.
This is definitely interesting. Like, I think if anything convinced me the most, it's the humor, the like sense of humor that they have about everything, and like they're having fun with the character, which is great to see.
We can redefine the meaning of heroism and villainy. Could you stop it with this shit already?
So, what the hell?
Yeah, this is a weird one. So this was one I was at PAX West and I saw. No release date yet, but there is a demo, and I had to play that demo. It only takes maybe like 20-30 minutes to play through the whole demo, and it has one of the most interesting little concepts for a game that I've seen in a long time. But before I get there, I do want to point out, it's funny that this comes up after the Batman thing, because this is very comic inspired. Like it's kind of, it plays off a lot of the classic superhero tropes. The superpower that you have is that you can kind of enter these things and go back in time. And that way you're kind of making different versions of yourself. When you first start the game, you'll just run through you're trying to stop this bomb from going off. And you have to run through this area and touch 3 different buttons. So you run, find a button, but you realize that you don't have, like, you're going to run out of time. So you can't do it all yourself. So you do you find a spot to go back in time. And then, so you're now basically playing co-op with yourself. And you have to avoid yourself, because if you run into yourself, it creates a time paradox, and that's the game over. So you have to basically run around and go find another button while avoiding yourself, while avoiding the dog that's trying to chase you, while avoiding, like, there's like a big boulder that will like crash through at certain areas. And then, of course, you do that a couple of times. So now there's multiple of you running around this whole area.
It does sound very interesting, but my worry is that when you build a whole game around this concept of creating your own past versions of yourself, it might get tiring pretty quick. And the reason I'm saying that is there was this game called Lisfanga that I saw at Summer Game Fest in 23, I think, that basically was built around the same concept, that you were creating versions of yourself coming back in time and like fighting more enemies and whatnot. So there's that. And that's my worry, because I really liked the idea of Lisfanga when I first saw it at Summer Game Fest, but when I actually played it, I got bored pretty quick with the mechanic. This, however, looks a bit more interesting because it has more to offer with the humor and with like the very different visual vibe. Lisfanga was less, I'd say, characteristic. Hank looks like something I could maybe follow and see, but I'm curious.
And I do have some good news for you, because I didn't mention this before, but when I was talking to the developer, they were very adamant about wanting this to be like a very short thing. Like they're not only inspired by comic books for the visual stuff, but they also their concept was for this to be something you could kind of pick up like an issue of a comic book and kind of flip through it, read it in like a short setting. And so I don't think this is going to be that long. I think it's going to be like maybe an hour long game.
Okay.
But I think he does have plans to continue the character, to like maybe make more games with this character. But obviously we'll see where that goes.
This could be a pretty interesting concept, to have the same character appearing in games that are mechanically very different, and you play these games in different ways, but the connecting factor is the character. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I played the demo. I like this demo. I'm gonna see where this goes. For sure.
And now, as promised, we take a quick look at all the scores that we gave to the games today. Like I mentioned before, each one is given a score between 1 and 10, and that's how we collectively get our top 3 that we felt were the most interesting based on the pitches and the trailers, of course. And these 3 games today are Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, we had Recur, and we have Unbeatable. So an unexpected turn of events for me, but like I said, Unbeatable for me was not something I expected to be invested before you told me about this game in a very convincing manner. So thank you for that. And obviously let us know in the comments what would be your top 3 games out of the 10 that we showed today. Tell us what you agree with, what you disagree with, and maybe there is something that we overlooked and that you would like to share with us as well out of the, let's say, games that were either announced or received new trailers within the past month. So we'll be happy to see what you wrote in the comments. Thank you, Matt, for joining me today. And
thank you so much for
hopefully this will be a continued cooperation.
I hope so.
Thank you so much. Have a good one,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.
Bye-bye.